Okay. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for inviting me to this talk in this best practice session. So I will give you a little insight what we are doing in Suzhou. If it's real best practice, I don't know, but I think you can judge them by yourself after my speech. And if you have any questions, feel free to approach me at any time. So I give you a little presentation on the Global Advanced Manufacturing Institute, where I'm working now in Suzhou. Give one or two insights from my perspective, what's smart manufacturing in China, and then talk about GAMI as a platform for smart manufacturing concepts. I think lots of things we have already heard today, so I try to keep it as short as possible to have some more time for discussion afterwards. So I think you have, to give in a little insight, where are we located? So basically our mother institute is the Karlsruhe Institute of Technology, which is a basic technical university in Germany with 3 pillars: research, education, and the special thing about KIT is that they also have an innovation part in their mission, which for us as engineers is quite helpful, that they're really supporting and bringing the developed technology into the market. So my mother institute, where I also, as I got introduced, was working for 4.5 years, is the WBK Institute of Production Science, where they're focusing on 3 areas: on manufacturing and materials technology, machines, equipment, and process automation, and production systems. This is a basic research institute, about 60 research associates, 100 colleagues doing research in these fields. And we have 2 offices or locations in China. One is the Global Advanced Manufacturing Institute in Suzhou, where I'm from, and we have also a second entity, the AMTC laboratory at Tongji University. This is more related to the group of machines, equipment, and process automation, and the GAMI Institute, where the general manager is based or located to the group of production systems at WBK. So I'll give you a little insight, because there's lots of names. Also on my name tag there's a different name than is on the slide. So basically we are in China since 10 years. We are founded as the Global Advanced Manufacturing Institute as a WBK representative office. At that time we were located in Hangzhou, starting with supplier development projects, supporting our good partners that we're having in Germany when they move to China, especially SMEs, asking for support in factory planning, supply development projects. So we did that on a project basis, which was after 3 years not suitable anymore. So in 2011 we founded our own company, which is Suzhou Production Engineering Services, and we moved to Suzhou. Since 2014 we are also happy to serve as the official representative of core KIT in China, bringing professors not only from production science there, but serve as an incubator for other disciplines like environmental research, logistics, entrepreneurship, etc. So we have a good collaboration with all these professors coming to China, to Suzhou. And in 2015 we opened our Industry 4.0 Demonstration and Innovation Center, following the trend which I will be introducing or focusing my next 12 minutes on. Just give you a little insight where we're located. I think I would like to relate to Laura's speech regarding industry parks. I think SIP, Suzhou Industrial Park, where we are located, is a quite good example of an industrial park with a GDP of around 250 billion RMB, which is more than some European states like Latvia or Estonia have. So with lots of foreign enterprises, domestic enterprises. And as you can see here, they have, this is the Suzhou Education and Innovation District, where there are lots of foreign universities, UCLA, University of Sydney, Monash, Oxford University have their branches there. So we are quite proud to be there in this atmosphere and have a good exchange with other international universities. So what is our goal of GAMI as a production science institute? So we take the research that we're doing at our mother institute in Karlsruhe and transfer them to industry and training concepts. So I think this is exactly what our core is. Do some adaptive research, but focusing on research and training. And today I will be especially focusing on the training part, what we're doing there in the field of Industry 4.0. So, smart manufacturing in China, I think we have heard lots of things. I would just give you, or brought 2 slides, what I think are quite interested. If we're talking about smart manufacturing, what is missing, and I think we have heard this in several discussions today, is the digital talents with the systems understanding. I think what people need is a system understanding, what we have already discussed now, big data analytics. I need somehow to develop a digital strategy and deal with topics regarding security and risks. So what we're seeing now, especially here, there is an insufficient local supply of these digital talents. Companies are quite sure or not sure how to integrate them into the organization. Who's responsible? Do I need to develop my own people to do this digital talent, or do I hire some new, maybe some mathematicians in production science, but who's then responsible and what are their tasks? And also, digital talents maybe, especially here in China, are somehow reluctant to work for manufacturing companies because they would like rather focusing on some software or IT companies which they are specialized on. This leads to a task that we are really talking about data analytics. If I just brought an example where 30,000 data tags are captured somehow in the production, at least already 40% of this data was lost during some infrastructural reasons, and about 1% of the data was stored. And then even less than 1% of this data was analyzed, deployed, and really taking people on the process. So I think to understand and to deal with these challenges, there are three digital talent workarounds established. So companies are opening satellite offices near innovation hubs, for example here in SAP. They're hiring or work together with some experts in this field on a project base, or even upskill the workforce. And our challenge is to say, how can we serve as a project partner to support these companies on a project base, but also how to upskill the workforce, which I will be focusing my talk on. I think we heard a lot of Made in China 2025, Industry 4.0. I think lots of people have talked about it. I will not go into detail. I will just keep 2 things in mind. We have talked about what's the differences in years about the governmental initiatives. We have talked about the main objective of this initiative. In Germany, more to keep or increase the level, especially on innovation, what we also discussed this morning. And in China, especially in this first phase, the modernization of inefficient production. So in Germany or in Europe, we deal especially how to find standardized solutions, data security, and all these topics we heard of. And here, it's rather more an unskilled workforce that has to deal with these topics, lacking a system understanding. So what's the approach in the different countries? I think in Germany we focus on our own strengths. I put egocentric just with an E so it renders to efficient, and focusing on our own strengths, our production strengths. Here in China, everyone is looking outside for new solutions, thinking how can maybe also UK Catapult initiative or German initiative can help and adapt them to China's needs. Schedule, we already discussed, but to really establish a good training system, I think the starting point is quite important, and I just brought one number here that we're talking about. Germany, we have somehow established new concepts and a solid base of production. If we call it, let's say, Industry 3.0, then we're talking about 301 industrial robots per 10,000 industry employees. And here in China, as you all know, we have a very highly heterogeneous workforce, talking about 19 industrial robots. And I think this is a very different starting point where which you have to adapt the qualification of your employees. And how can GAMI as a platform support this project? This is a picture from our office. So we established this Industry 4.0 Innovation and Demonstration Center where with some smart equipment, have a little training room and some digital solutions. And what are the challenges we're focusing on? So there's 5 questions that always get asked, or that we want to tackle there. This is which competences of the staff must be trained, how can I do it, which are the technology enablers. I think we heard of that today. Technology is not the focus, but of course it must be plays an important role here. How can they adapted and showcased to the Chinese market and even be extended towards the supply chain as Kühne Nagel also presented if we're talking about logistics change. So I will be answering these or tackling these 5 questions in the next 5 minutes. So we see always that the competences of the stuff must be the human in the center. I think he's on the shop floor giving feedback, some sensors, and then there are some data correlations in the background, some algorithms that are dealing with it, and they are handling there are some methods and tools who are dealing or pre-analyzing this data, giving decision support to the worker, that he, with his skills, can then make the decisions on the shop floor. So we put, of course, the human in the middle, and he must be able to experience new technologies, new concepts in a risk-free environment, get familiar with these methods and tools that give him decision support, enhance his skills so that he can make better informed decisions on the shop floor based on all the data correlations that are in the background, but is not touching him directly on the shop floor. Yeah. So how are we going to do that? So in our innovation center, we basically have 2 configurations or more configurations of our products. So we manufacture a real product. So we have a manual configuration with 4 assembly stations, manual material handling, so we can teach and educate on lean production systems, the basic of logistics, and to teach the operator how assembly operations can be done. The information transfer is mainly visual on a visual board. We have quality reports and paper vision, so you can really teach in a methodology concept the basic of production systems and lean, which is the basis for manufacturing. And then we can step by step enhance this configuration towards more Industry 4.0 configuration with automatic conveyor and typing system. We have some production with RFID, QR code, and MES system in place. We have a digital milk run concept, so the worker can experience the individual technologies and see what can be beneficial towards his understanding of a lean production. Also some, of course, some information transfer, so automatic data collection, digital shop management, which is being in place. So how do we see the main part of what are the technological enablers of Industry 4.0? We clustered them in six fields. I think also not new. The technologies that we have are able to have real-time decision support, some analytic and AI tools, which we are talking about, a stronger focus on human-machine interaction that creates then somehow higher transparency, changeability and flexibility based on a higher computational power and connectivity along the whole supply chain. And these are the 6 enablers that we want to teach in our concept, but of course here in China must be the 4 outside points must be always shown in any tool that we can achieve some cost savings, that we can achieve a higher production quality, better time to market, and also more and more important, support a sustainable production according to the new sustainable regulations. So some of the concepts we can show, I will not go into detail, but you're always welcome to visit us in Suzhou, it's not so far away, where you can see some of these technologies in place, experience and see the benefit of Industry 4.0 based in these 6 categories I presented. So also discussed how can now companies benefit, and I think Laura also presented this quite nicely. So how do we approach this in our case? I think we have lots of, this is just an example, some partnership models that we do trainings with the companies together, with Chinese, with German companies. So we offer professional trainings in our training program with our experienced trainers regarding Industry 4.0. The companies can bring their solutions into our innovation center. I think Jan and Patrick also showed this case of Bosch with this intelligent glove, so we just got this in place, so they can present their own solutions, train their own employees in this solution, and also do we work out together case studies with them, so they know how to teach these new concepts with us in our innovation center or at their own plant. Then also we talk about how can we develop Industry 4.0 concepts together to do assessments regarding the company, share our knowledge and experience regarding state-of-the-art solutions. They got to know also other solutions when they are working with us in our innovation center. And then we help them to develop roadmaps for implementation of these concepts, their own product or other products in their own production, and have then sustainable collaboration with our industry partners. So if we're talking about the supply chain, what's the benefit of being a research institute or being closely connected to university? As I said, we have 3 locations in place. So on the top you see our location in Suzhou, but we have the same software or the same data interfaces towards our learning factories in Karlsruhe and at the Tongji University in Shanghai. We have similar processes, so we can store our data in some central cloud and analyze, more or less analyze what is going on at the other sites to show the benefit of a distributed production, of a distributed knowledge sharing, to experience the benefit, would also bring then big data analytics and in this place at very easy concepts to make it understandable what's the benefit of Industry 4.0 for your individual plant. So with that slide, I want to close my speech. The question is what competences must be trained, as I think it's methodological and digital competence, but always based on the lean philosophy, on the lean principle. How to train, I think it's very important not only to showcase an Industry 4.0 solution, but show different automation levels, which technological enablers can be used. I think I showed some. If you have any questions, I will be happy to answer afterwards. We are offering or being a showcase for Industry 4.0 concepts, serve as an open platform with standard interfaces. So if you have a solution that you want to share or showcase or develop a training concept together with, please feel free to approach me. We will develop a concept together, and we can also bring this into the supply chain by increasing the transparency and also learning effects among different partners that they have a solution and share it in the cloud. I think this is then the most benefit of Industry 4.0 in the future. So this was my speech. I hope I kept it almost in time. I think so. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Arndt. Is there any question from the audience? I have one question. You have mentioned the starting point of the Chinese manufacturing industry might be Industry 2.0 or even lower. And do you think they can make this jump from 2.0 to 4.0?
Yes, should. I'm convinced. As I think this is what we talked about the whole day. It's not possible just by buying technology. It must be the qualification behind, the understanding of production, establish a sound production system, and then understand the production concept, the production philosophy, and then increase at a certain point or adapt some smart solutions to increase the efficiency, the cost of oil, lead time of your production. This is the key to success.
Thank you. So, if there is no further question, and thank you again.